are here in Rush, Kentucky at Rush Off-Road. I am Miles Hasselquist, getting ready to kick off the four-wheel parts battle in the Bluegrass.
We have 3 different races going on at the same time. We have the 4600 Spidertrax stock class on screen, starting from the back of the pack, and then we integrated the 4500 Yukon Gear and Axle modified class with the 4800 Branik Motorsports Legends class. They are racing their own class for points, but they're integrated on how they qualified. They did take off the line in 20-second increments.
So I'm here with Brad Reed. This is your first race with us here in Ultra 4, and you picked a good one.
Oh yeah, yeah, we're excited.
What are you most excited about for have on course?
Just being able to drive this, since we just got it done.
You can't really tell, but this is a Ford Ranger, and you guys have been pre-running quite a bit. That's a nasty course.
Oh, it is. It's real sloppy out there.
And like I said, your first race with us, thanks for coming. Thanks for being here, and this race is on us. So hopefully we get you hooked and see you in Tennessee, I hope.
Oh yeah, definitely. We'll definitely be there.
Well, Brad, best of luck, man.
All right, thanks. Appreciate it.
What a great start it has been for the four-wheel parts battle in the Bluegrass here at the Rush Off-Road Park. So the stock class will be doing 3 laps, but the 45 and 48s will be doing 4 laps apiece. Again, if you are just tuning in, thank you everybody from all over the world. I am Miles Hasselquist alongside Pam Hall, and this is the 2021 four-wheel parts battle in the Bluegrass here at the Rush Off-Road Park. And we've got a race on our hands. Remember, we have 3 of them going on at this same time. The 4600 Spidertrax stock class, they have to have a stock OEM frame, stock engine, factory transmission, 35-inch DOT tires, single shock per corner, factory style suspension, mechanical steering, but it's a fun class to watch. And then we have integrated the 4500 Yukon Gear and Axle modified class. They can have 2.5 shocks per corner, but they have to have some kind of mechanical steering, maximum of a 37-inch DOT tire and a front-mounted engine. And then the 4800 Branik Motorsports Legends class, front-mounted engine as well. Vehicle must contain 2 seats side by side, single shock per corner, maximum of a 37-inch DOT tire, and only solid axle vehicles are allowed. This is our first race in the Eastern Series. The attrition is starting to set in, and this course is tough for these stock guys, and they are supposed to run 3 laps, but right now it's not looking good for them. Casey Gilbert with Tranny Tom and coming across the rigid ridge, about to hit the HCR drop. In his Miller Motorsports chassis, running those Nitto tires, Casey Gilbert on a mission. Just because I know who it is, you can't really tell, but that's the 618 of Casey Gilbert, all over the throttle. He needs to slow her down. Casey Gilbert heading out for lap 2 of 4.
He definitely has a different sound to his motor.
That Texas speed horsepower is awesome, as Casey Gilbert just hauling the mail towards the Yukon launch, running a smooth and steady run. So behind him should be Trevor Foltz, but I don't quite see him. So Casey Gilbert starting to pull away with the lead. But remember, it is on adjusted time. They took off in 20-second increments, but it's looking good for old Casey Gilbert. There goes Casey Gilbert up the MBRP horsepower hill, and we'll see if he takes that left or right line. He stays right. Casey Gilbert starting to pull away with this race. He's starting to get a demanding lead. Physically in third, it looks like it's going to be George Schooley, followed closely by Justin Barth, I believe, coming down the HCR drop as they made their way across the rigid ridge. George Schooley with his daughter Cameron riding shotgun, and another Miller Motorsports chassis. So physically in that third position, Duane Garrettson in that beautiful Ford Bronco clip in that Jimmy's chassis, number 4500 Yukon Gear and Axle modified class, number 26, Duane Garrettson getting ready to hit the Yukon launch as we speak, as he launches up there, takes a hard right, makes it across the bank, and then heads out on for another lap, heading out for lap 2 out of 4. as we're watching George Schooley and Cameron Schooley heading up the MBRP Horsepower Hill. Physically in that third position. And look how slick it is, because he's got the horsepower, but nobody's got the traction today. Here's a great shot of Justin Barth, number 417, out of Springfield, Missouri. And it's only about a year old Jimmy's 4x4 chassis. He's taking that left line. I don't know why more people aren't, but I think it's going to be a lot more popular, but then it's going to get slicked up. So coming down the ACR drop is Jesse Oliver. So Cody St. Clair did get around him. So we should be picking up Jesse Oliver as we do. He's heading up Yukon launch as we speak. But the attrition is starting to set in, Pam. These cars are taking a beating. So there's another great shot of the Trail 39. If you are just tuning in, thank you. We've got people tuned in all over the world. This is the 2021 Four-Wheel Parts Battle in the Bluegrass here at the Rush Off-Road Park. Again, I am Miles Hasquist alongside Pam Hall, and we've got a race on our hands. John Schaefer is physically out front in the 4600 Spidertrax stock class, and he's going to take which line? He was going to try to take right, but slid to the left and just kept rolling with it.
His car said, no, we're going the other way.
So John Grounds chasing down a stock class car. So John Schaefer just made up MBRP Hill. Right behind him is John Grounds. That's Andrew Harper. Ooh, and that's followed by our race leader, Casey Gilbert, but there is no passing in this trail, so Casey Gilbert and Trainee Tom are just biting at their tongue as they're following a stock class car, but now they'll get up here and Casey Gilbert will show out his horsepower here going up the MBRP Horsepower Hill.
And this is where those double lanes will be a factor right here. Then he already took his pass right there.
So Casey Gilbert, our race leader, the number 618, showing off that Texas speed horsepower up the MBRP Horsepower Hill. So that's a power line road. We haven't quite seen that line for a little bit. That's as they're heading up and out of MBRP Horsepower Hill, heading out on their 8.7 mile loop. And there goes Duane Garrettson, number 26, up the Yukon launch in that Ford Bronco wrapped Jimmy's chassis. I believe he's first in the 4500 Yukon Gear and Axle modified class as he heads up the Yukon launch. Remember, we do have 3 separate races going on at the same time. Even though they're all together, they are scored individually. I believe they're following Duane Garrettson with that live drone, and how cool is that? These guys are putting on one heck of a show. But the green is really starting to pop. I've only been here for a week now, and it's really starting to pop good out here in eastern Kentucky. Rush is at the tri-state intersection of Ohio, West Virginia, and Kentucky. And we are here at Rush Off-Road, and this place has more than 7,000 acres and over 100 miles of trail system out here in eastern Kentucky. The 4600 Spidertrax stock class only has to do 3 laps. The 45 and 48s have to do 4 laps. So they'll be racing roughly 35 miles out here in eastern Kentucky here at Rush Off-Road. So there's a great shot in the Amsoil hot pits. That's number 457, Jesse Oliver, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is. He's got a right rear flat, and he's been driving on that one for a while. Just changing a right rear, getting a drink of water, and Jesse Oliver will be back out on course. So here's John Schaefer coming into screen as he comes down the HCR drop. So that's finishing his second lap.
I believe that is our physical race leader, Casey Gilbert, coming down the rigid ridge right now. He is coming in, completing his 3rd lap right now, Casey Gilbert.
The white flag will be flying for 618 Casey Gilbert, part of Big B Motorsports, heading out for his 4th and final lap. Our race leader, Casey Gilbert, in the 4800 Branik Motorsports Legends class. So Casey Gilbert showing off that Texas Speed horsepower, heading up MBRP Horsepower Hill. The 4570 Proving Grounds Jeep heading out and up the MBRP Horsepower Hill, but George and Cameron Schooley, I love the father-daughter team up, and that another Miller Motorsports chassis heading out there strong. It sounds like Cameron's going to start taking over driving duties in the Miller Motorsports chassis later on this year or next, so she's still riding shotgun with her dad, and then they'll swap seats and keep the tradition alive.
That's pretty awesome to do.
And gets a little bicycle action at the top of the Yukon launch. And coming down the rigid ridge as we speak, I believe is Justin Barth. But on screen is George Schooley coming down trail 39. So here comes Duane Garrettson, number 26, grabbing the white flag, physically in first place for the 4500 Yukon Gear and Axle modified class. Number 26 in his Ford Bronco Jimmy's chassis, Duane Garrettson, as he's making his way up the Yukon launch. So there's 26, Duane Garrettson, heading up. He's out on his 4th and final lap for the 4500 Yukon Gear and Axle modified class. So MBRP Horsepower Hill is starting to show it's a struggle there. It is muddy at the bottom, and they need momentum. This track is getting slicker and slicker. There is Casey Gilbert running across the rigid ridge, hitting the HCR drop as we speak, coming across, hopefully winning this thing unofficially. Number 618, Casey Gilbert and Tranny Tom, part of Big B Motorsports and that Miller Motorsports chassis. Casey Gilbert grabs the checker flag. There it is waving. He's coming through the Amsoil hot pits as we speak. The crowd's giving him some thumbs up, and you can't tell what kind of car that is, Pam.
No, you can't.
Jesse Oliver, number 4517, hits the rigid ridge and then the HCR drop as we speak. So crossing the rigid ridge as we speak is our 4600 Spidertrax stock class first place finisher. He'll be dropping down the HCR drop any moment. And that RPM Extreme machine built by Savvy. Looks like there he is, John Schaefer, on screen as we speak, physically finishing first in the 4600 Spidertrax stock class. We'll see how this plays out. He started on the pole as well and never looked back, just like Casey Gilbert. Remember, we do have 3 races going on at the same time. So grabbing that checkered flag is George and Cameron Schooley, physically finishing in second position. These cars are completely covered up. You can't hardly see a number. You can't hardly see a thing in here. So that's the 4570 of John Grounds. So the checkered flag will be flying for Duane Garrettson, number 26 in that Ford Bronco 4500 Yukon Gear and Axle modified class. John Schaefer, RPM Extreme, finishing first in the 4600 Spidertrax stock class. And here comes our first place finisher, Duane Garrettson, number 26. For the 4800 Branik Motorsports Legends class. In third place, Justin Barth. And in second spot, George and Cameron Schooley. Top of the box, Mr. Casey Gilbert.
Next, we have the 4500 Gear and Axle class. We have our third place, John Grounds. Second place, Jesse Oliver. And first place, Duane Garrettson.
He's for the 4600 Spidertrax stock class. In third position, we have Ken Carter. In second position, we have Matt Gresser. Top of the box is John Schaefer.